The number one show I know that we all agree on is Break the Bank with X Lerk and Deion.
Welcome back to another episode of the Break the Bank podcast. This is the first time in like a month that all three of us are here at the same time?
Yeah.
Second time? Feels like it's been forever. What's good with y'all? How's everything?
With you back, I clear my schedule for the next 3.5 hours. You know what I'm saying?
You already know, bro. You already know. I appreciate it.
We record like 2 episodes in like an hour when he was gone. You know what I'm saying? We hit
Yeah.
17 topics. We're like, yo, what else can we talk about? You know what I'm saying? We started talking about politics and shit. You know what I'm saying? We solved the fucking Pakistani-Israel war. Like, we figured it all out. We talked it all out in under 50 minutes.
If we get into 2024 and we got a dead period, I do got opinions on that too.
Definitely. I do not want to be a part of that conversation. I enjoy being gainfully employed, and somehow that will cost me my job. Somehow.
Me too. And I'm just saying, in terms of employment, if the Saudi Arabian government is hiring, Allahu Akbar.
All right, bro. So congratulations to the.
I'll wear the outfit they made Messi wear at the World Cup. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be in there one of the sheik. I'll be dressed like a sheik. I ain't tripping.
Yo.
I just want to be a part of the investment fund.
Yo, y'all wild boys. Shout out to Jokic and them boys. Denver Nuggets won the NBA Finals since the last time this show was recorded. Jokic is now MVP of the regular season, two-time MVP of the regular season, a Finals MVP, and an NBA champion. Where does he rank all time for you, X?
Yo, that's an interesting question because I feel like especially online Twitter, everybody runs to the extreme. He's somehow both underrated and overrated. Like, he deserves credit because let's keep it a buck. A lot of people just didn't watch him, and now they're watching like, holy shit, he's good. But now they're like, yo, he's top 12 all time. Like, yo, let's relax. Like, let's relax. You know what I'm saying? So, top 30, if without thinking too hard about it. But I'm not going to say anything ludicrous like he's top 12 because I wouldn't put him above Dirk at this point.
I mean, he's accomplished more than Dirk at this point.
Yeah, I'd put him above Dirk.
You put him above Dirk already.
So my thing is, like, if I can project out you having bad seasons and still accomplishing more than him throughout your career, then I'm comfortable doing that. And I think if Jokic, like a bad season for Jokic at this point is like 17, 8 and 8. You know what I mean? And like, if he does that for however long his prime were to last, we can use 35 as an example. Like, I do think he would surpass Dirk with 2 MVPs, Finals MVP, and then I think he'd probably wind up scoring more points than him if he did that.
He's definitely gonna have way more assists. He might have more rebounds.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he just recorded the most triple doubles in a single postseason. He averaged 30. He averaged 30 points in the finals.
Hey, real quick, shout out to my Yankees.
Changed the game though. Like,
shout out to my Yankees. We up 2-1 now.
He low key. All right, relax. You a Giants fan? The game.
Oh yeah,
Jokic is 30. I bet on. Jokic averaged 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists in the finals, with 1.4 blocks per game too.
No, look, and like I said, I don't want to discredit.
Look, I'm not trying to say you wrong for being tepid with it. I'm just saying, like, let's be real with what he's done when you start talking about, like, I understand you're a Mavs fan and Dirk is a legend. He accomplished a lot, right? He did a lot. But Jokic already has more individual accolades than him besides the All-Stars.
But see, my thing is like, and maybe because I chose Dirk, but when I compare eras, you gotta be a nerd and you gotta like look at shit like pace, right? And possessions per game, because certain stats are gonna be artificially inflated. Now, that's not to take away from Jokic. It's just like it's probably more fit to compare him to players in his era first and players that are active now. And then we can start. It would take a longer conversation to really like adjust for pace and all that, and how many more possessions a game,
I think I understand where you're coming from, because if you adjust for pace, then Dirk Dirk probably has more points.
Yeah, like he was a better.
But
I mean, Dirk's a better scorer.
I
Jokic
mean, but
just
see, that's something that's something I was gonna get at though, right? Like you're gonna argue, right, about the scoring wise, right? Look at what Jokic does, and he doesn't even really look to score. And then when he does look to score, you can't stop him.
no. Jokic is
Like somebody that's a pass first guy, like he's like the LeBron and centers where you talk about how he doesn't have like play with this killer instinct. He doesn't really look to score, doesn't really look for his own shot, always looking to pass, not known as a scorer, but then still putting up these crazy ass offensive numbers.
not. But let me ask you a question: if Luka next year won a championship, would we be quick to be putting him in the top 15 of all time yet?
Nah, cause Luca don't got the MVPs too to go with it. Like
Sure,
I'm not saying
look at his
Luke
numbers though.
I understand what you're saying, but Jokic 2-time MVP to go with all of this, like, and look what he's doing at his size. Pause, like, it's more than just that. And then Luca, he's putting up crazy numbers, but he's also a guy that is always hunting for his own shot too.
I mean, it's not that I underrate MVPs because they are important, but when you got people like Ramona Shelburne admitting that she votes based on narrative, it's like it waters it down for me. Because let's be honest, how many years in a row was LeBron James the best player in the league without question? Did he win an MVP all of those years? No.
Just because
So
you're the best player
I
don't
would
mean you
never
had the
use
best
the
season.
number, huh?
Just because you're the best player don't mean you had the best season, but you could continue what you're saying.
X is completely correct, right? Like in his statement, specifically the Ramona Shelburne part, Jokic is different for me because I think the narrative goes against him. I feel the same way about Luka to an extent too. So like that's why like
What you mean?
although I get like if Embiid won this time,
this year the definitely they were looking for a reason to give it to somebody other than Jokic, which is why it was so heavily tilted towards Embiid. They're like, have we forgotten about Giannis? Like, yo, no one's forgot about Giannis, but you know what I'm saying?
I feel the same way about the previous two. I could be wrong on his first one. The first one's the one where like if you were like, yo, like they tried to give it to Jokic, I'd be like, yeah, you might know better. Like maybe you know better than me because I don't really smoke way too much weed to remember that. I'm gonna be honest.
Remember, because that was after Giannis had played poorly in the playoffs. And then they started saying, like, yo, we're giving this motherfucker regular season MVPs. It's not translating to postseason success. So we're not going to run. Like, you got to do some really superhuman shit during the regular season for us to give it to Giannis again. And that's when but again, the narrative shifts. That's why I'm like, look.
But his second one, though, as a Warriors fan, they were dying to give his second MVP to Steph Curry. Like they put us on national TV all of March and April just so that ESPN had a reason to talk about Steph Curry the day before they were showcasing his game. Now, I think he got hurt. He ended up not playing in some of those games or something like that. But yeah, as much as I agree with what you're saying, like when it comes to MVPs, Jokic to me, hey, we stealing home plate on the Mets now?
Yeah, we ain't shit, bro. It's over.
And we still at home plate.
Yo, bro, once the bullpen comes in, it's over.
But with Jokic, I feel like it's different. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it's different. Like, Jokic is the one player.
Not arguing, but I think we agree that the existence of a narrative each year is why you kind of have to devalue MVP a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So because of that,
you're probably right.
Absolutely. Jokic has two, Dirk only has one, therefore one is above the other. Like, I won't say that because there's people that feel like Dirk shouldn't have won the one that he did and probably should have won in years where he didn't. So again, it's just
you're right.
But I do think long term, Jokic will be an all-time great. And if he continues anywhere near the pace that he's currently on for the next 4 years, I mean, it's going to be hard to keep him out of the top 10, top 12, because his numbers are going to be unlike anything we've ever. It's going to be like some Wilt Chamberlain type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double, but that was different than what Jokic is doing. You know what I'm saying?
And he almost averaged a triple-double too.
They was like, yo, Russ, KD just left. We want to show you that we're all about you go out there and play Russell Westbrook ball and put up all the counting stats. That's not what Jokic is doing. Jokic is just fucking methodically, just fucking whatever defense you come up with, he has an answer for. And it's like, well, there's no answer for the motherfucker. And if the people around him do their job, like Godspeed, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so you said right now you got him top 30, right?
For sure. And I'm just, because
I say he's at least top 20. I'm not sure if he's top 15 yet, but he's got to be at least top 20. If he wins another championship, I might just have him in the top 10.
I got him top 15, but I disrespect individuals that played basketball prior to segregation. I disrespect individuals whose career was made prior to MJ joining the league. And I disrespect individuals that, I just
So let's be clear. Nobody in your top 20 or at least top 15 played before MJ.
So look.
No, but they're lower. They're just low.
Okay.
I just Googled the random NBA top 20 top players of all time. And 19, they've got Karl Malone. He's a rapist and he's a nasty boy. But when you look at his stats historically, his fucking resume is tough. So for me to say that I could put
Jokic I have Jokic over him. I have Jokic over him.
Listen, I don't know. I ain't gotten a full 8 hours of sleep in a long time. If my night came down to me feeling bad, I put Jokic over Karl Malone. There's a full 8 hours of sleep going on.
Jerry West?
Way over.
Charles Barkley.
Loser. Way over.
Kevin Garnett.
See, KG, so the ones, so there's a handful of players I have Jokic over that if you didn't, I wouldn't argue.
So there's an argument. All right. So there's an argument with KG.
KG, okay. Kevin Durant, Giannis.
Olajuwon.
Yes.
Hakeem
over Jokic. He's still over Jokic.
Yeah.
I have Hakeem over Jokic. Yeah.
All right. So that's 2. Oscar Robertson.
I got Jokic over him.
I would have to put Jokic over him, bro.
All right. Bill Russell. Can't put Jokic over.
I got Jokic over him too. Listen, he pumped gas.
All right. Come on.
He pumped gas in the offseason.
I'm gonna put 3. Kevin Durant.
I got him over. I got Jokic over him.
I still got KD over him. Even though I still got KD over him. If he wins another championship, he's over KD. There's an argument. All right. There's an argument for either one. But if he wins another championship, he's clear. He clears KD.
So we got 4. Curry, there's an argument. That's 5.
No, there's no argument.
Duncan, argument 6.
I don't know. I don't have him over Duncan.
No, I don't have him over Duncan.
So now we're Bird, Shaq.
I think there's no argument for Steph or Duncan.
At the earliest, we're looking in the 14, 15.
He's not over Shaq yet either.
No, of course I'm not.
He's my 14.
Yeah, so if you want to say 14, 15?
I also have
you really mapped this out.
I have Steph at 3.
You really mapped this out.
Yeah. No, I have a full list. I've been thinking about it for a while. I have Steph at 3. I think for me, like Steph is the only player that on that list that truly went toe-to-toe with somebody else on that list and accomplished as much in terms of winning as that other person. So like if you're telling me like Steph has 4 rings in LeBron's era, I think he'd have 7 if he got to play when Kobe played. Who the hell did Kobe go against?
Giannis. Also?
I think I got Jokic above Giannis.
What you mean? Okay. Who did Kobe go against? In the West, he went up against mad people.
Isaiah Thomas.
I got him above.
I got him over. We still talking about Jokic, right?
Yeah.
I got him over. I got him over IT.
Scotty.
Yes. I got him over Scotty.
Scotty's a sidekick.
And AI.
I definitely got him over AI.
All right,
now AI is number 1 in my heart.
He's a complete. Yeah, like that.
AI is number 1 in my heart for sure.
Saying yes, but he's already got the accomplishments that AI never got.
Listen,
so I'm not going to say top 30. I'm going to say, for me at least, without doing top 20 to 25, which is fair. That's not disrespect to Jokic.
It's not. But if he wins another championship, we gotta have a top. If he wins another one, we gotta have a top 10 conversation.
I just look I look at it like this. Like I split it up into generations and eras, right? in this era, it's clearly Bron and Steph 1A, 1B. You could say 1 and 2 if you want to, but those are the best two, right? Jokic is very, in my opinion, very clearly above everybody else now. Whether that's Giannis, KD, whoever you
For
want to throw
now.
out there.
For now.
For now, yeah, for now. Like, but we're talking in this very moment. I cannot hold this era to the level I hold it to in comparison to the 70s or 80s, and then say the third best player from this era isn't top 15.
But
And that for
Giannis,
me is why I have him in the top 15.
but Giannis has what, 2 MVPs, right?
2 MVPs and a ring.
The defensive player of the year, a ring, and a Finals MVP. So why doesn't he clear Jokic?
I think what Jokic has done is more dominant and more impressive. I say this all the time, I've said it on here a million times. To beat Steph, to beat LeBron, it takes more than playing basketball, right? Like it takes other factors. Jokic has entered that realm for me after this playoff run. Giannis, I honestly believe with Giannis, you can still beat him playing basketball right now. Like as tremendous of a player as he is, his aura doesn't really scare you. You're not scared of Giannis before you play Giannis. Versus Jokic, I think Jokic starts a series up 1-0 before like the first tip.
Wait,
would you have said that before this year?
I wouldn't have. But that's how this stuff works, though. You know what I mean? I've always been a proponent of like the narratives on Jokic in the playoffs are overblown because he's never had a healthy team. But after this is their first healthy team since the bubble, and they won and they won with ease. Like, you know what I mean? That's almost like that's like crazy impressive to me to where you haven't been healthy for 3 years. All of a sudden you get healthy and it's like, yeah, we would have been doing this. If I just had my guys with me, we would have been doing this.
Yeah, he went to the Western Conference Finals without his guys.
Yeah. Like it's the same thing. It's the reason I don't give KD the credit other people get. The moment Steph had a healthy team without KD, they won a title immediately. It's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. That stuff matters to me. But it just depends on how you look at it.
What's next?
So, Ja Morant.
Bro,
Now, good.
Silver is gonna drop the ham on son.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. What do you think the suspension is going to be?
At least 42 games.
I think it's the year.
You think it's the year?
You think it's that
I
bad?
think it's
You
the
think
year.
because he said that they discovered more things. I forgot his
Yeah.
exact words.
Yeah, I think it's
I forgot his exact words, but he said that that during the investigation they discovered some more details. So it's
But his
looking
team
like
came out and said it was a prop gun. Like, yo, how stupid do you think we are? So like, it's asinine. But you're right. If they discovered that he might have been at the facility with the blicky on him, 4 year. You know what I'm saying? 4 year.
yo,
I think
to
that's what it
be
was.
if you was at the facilities in the off season with the grip on you, you're just a fucking idiot, bro. Like
I would expect that the news comes out Friday. Friday, like around 6 o'clock. Let the news cycle go over the weekend and they hope that it dies down by Monday.
I just knew it was
That
gonna
would
be
be my
bad.
guess.
I knew it was gonna be bad off rip. That's why I immediately like my reaction was the shit from Friday. Like
Bro,
how you get fired on your day off?
to say
Like
it's
how?
unfair to the two teams playing to announce it now is like, yo, fam, there's about to be some other shit.
Shout out
So,
Dylan Brooks. I know he having a good laugh at home about this shit.
but yeah, I can't wait till Friday. That's my prediction for when pause he drops the aim on him.
When's the Denver parade?
Thursday.
The Denver parade is tomorrow. Well, when this episode drops, the Denver parade will probably already have happened. So yeah, it'll probably be Friday.
Friday afternoon.
Let them celebrate their shit. When's the draft?
2 weeks.
Speaking of the draft. Speaking of the draft.
I
Portland
think that's when the
Trailblazers,
suspension drops, by the way.
the
The
night of the
draft?
draft.
I think it's gonna happen Tuesday or Wednesday before, and they hope that the draft happening, maybe like if you drop it Tuesday, you get a potential Scoot Henderson trade Wednesday.
Yeah, so Portland got the number 3 pick. Charlotte got the number 2. Charlotte's rumored to be going after Brandon Miller. Damian Lillard doesn't want them to build through the draft. He was on somebody's podcast recently talking about if he was to get traded, he wouldn't mind getting traded to Miami or Brooklyn. I know we spoke a few weeks about this. A few weeks ago, we spoke about Damian Lillard. X, to start with you. Do you think he's traded by the draft night?
Absolutely not. And it's just because for the matching salary, Portland's going to have to take back toxic long-term salary. And I don't think there's a team out there that can win, that if you add Lillard to them, is in a position to win seriously. B, can easily match salary without gutting their team. And C, will have the type of draft compensation that Portland's going to require to take Lillard and to also take back, toxic long-term salary. I don't think there's a team that really fits that bill because I don't think he believes. Maybe the Pelicans, maybe, but even if you look at the Heat, like, do you think that the 2028 and the 2030 first round picks for Miami is enough to take on fucking Hero and fucking Lowry and Duncan Robinson and to give away Dame? I don't think that's enough. Maybe for Beal, I think that's enough to get Beal, but I don't think that's enough for Portland to get rid of the one player that is a marquee player that put butts in the seats in a small market team.
What about you, Deion?
I don't think he moves because to facilitate a trade to a team that I think is in a better spot than Portland, you need either the Pelicans or Warriors to be a third team. I don't think the Pelicans are desperate enough to be the third team in that. Personally, maybe Memphis could be the third team, but
What about OKC?
Nah, because because they're not going to move Giddy or SGA. Like, that'd be a complete rebuild, right? Like, I think what Portland wants is like, okay, you're giving us prospects, you're giving us picks, but you're also giving us whether it's Desmond Bane or Brandon Ingram or Jordan Poole. Like, obviously, Poole's probably not on the level the other two are, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like an established player that you know can compete in the league too. And I don't think Oklahoma City has that without moving a guy that is way more valuable than Dame probably at this point. But
and remember that tax apron is coming. So
yeah.
Who's going to be able to absorb that in a year?
Right.
That's a lot. Which is why.
I'll go ahead, my bad.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I look at Miami and I look at Philly because Philly has Maxey. That's like the ace of spades. Like if Philly was willing to give up Maxey, then I think that's the most likely destination. But Miami, Brooklyn, Boston, the three teams that also make sense. It's like, are those any of those teams actually better than Portland? Like in a better spot? Like you could move the third pick for Siakam potentially, right? And then you still have Shaden Sharp, you still have Anthony Simons, you still have Nas Little, and you have all your picks to go get other pieces. Like, I don't know if these teams selling the farm for Dame actually puts Dame in a better spot than if Portland just went all in.
I mean, from what I hear, Dame said no to Boston. I don't know why. But if Boston decided to move Jalen for Dame and they're like, look, we don't want to pay Jalen. If because both are gonna have similar cap figures.
Right.
We'd rather have Dame than Jalen because we know Jalen doesn't work. Let's at least shuffle the chairs. But even that, is that sustainable long term? There's a lot of years left. And what fucked them was that they added that extension, that 2-year, $100-something million extension to the back end of Lillard's contract. That's what took it from like a bad contract to like an albatross. So I don't see it. Philly, if they're like, yo, fuck it. Embiid's a ticking time bomb. We'll trade Harris and Maxey and whatever else isn't tied down, and then they just fucking Embiid and fucking Dame. I'm listening, but
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. And
I really think a team of Dame, Siakam, and then whatever they could get from Sharp and Simons is honestly better than where he would go. Because you could turn, you don't even need to trade Shaden Sharp. You could turn Anthony Simons into Bradley Beal tomorrow, right? Simons and picks get you Beal. Dame, Beal, somebody at the 3, Siakam, Nurkic. I
They're
mean,
gonna give
honestly,
up
I think
140 points per game.
yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot to the bench, and you're gonna have to have a coach that can work the system. But like, how much worse is that than whatever the hell Boston would do, where you have Dame, Smart,
Yeah,
Tate, like
but you got Dame, you got Beal's contract and Siakam. Bruh, if anybody can't afford that tax apron, it's Portland.
Yo, and,
no.
and
Well,
I'm
listen,
assuming that's Bill's contract behind you.
Yeah, that's badly Beal's contract.
Nah.
Yeah, that's the nastiest contract in NBA history.
Now
It's
I'm not
disgusting.
saying Portland's gonna be willing to pay the luxury tax or the second apron for it, right? But like, what I'm saying is from a Dame perspective, I'm putting it in their hands. I'm going to be like, listen, either be willing to spend and put the team around me or don't and trade me. But if you force them to trade you, I don't necessarily think you're going to a better location. Like with that third pick is a huge asset.
And I
Is
think that's pretty
Siakam good
much what
enough
he
to trade the
did, though.
third pick for?
I think he's good enough to trade the third pick for if the only thing they're asking for is dead salary. Like if you get to keep all of your assets on top of Siakam, on top of getting Siakam, I think so. I think so. Because then you can make a real move for Mikal. Or you can make a real move for I mean, you probably won't get OG because it's not like Toronto's just gonna hand you everything in the world. But
But
you know what I mean,
Brooklyn
like Cam
supposedly
Johnson.
ain't really trying to let go of Mikhail for nothing.
You know,
I
They
don't
got
know.
a high asking price.
they want to pay
But
Mikal with whoever.
I don't think I think Sharp, Simons, and picks get you your pick of the league. Honestly. If you're
Okay.
willing to do it. Are they
So
willing to spend that much money? Probably not.
what about a
Would you want
Zach
to part with
Levine?
Sharp?
What about like a Zach Levine?
No, there's only one basketball.
What Portland should do is they
You're
should
talking about
draft
Bradley
Stu.
Beal.
Nah, bro, I wouldn't trade 3 for fucking Bill. Bro,
No.
Washington's
Yeah, I
not
was
getting
gonna
No.
say
I was
anything
saying
close to 3.
I was saying I said the Bradley Beal shit because when I mentioned Zach Levine, he said there's only one basketball. You mentioned Bradley Beal.
I
Like,
think Beal can play on ball and facilitate better than Levine can. And I think Dame can play off ball better than we know too.
And we've
and I
seen that
think
Bill can be your alpha.
he
So
can't he can't be a number one. Yeah, that's a fact. Speaking of Beal, that nasty ass contract behind you.
you're going to Miami.
Washington Wizards talking about they gonna help facilitate a trade. They got no choice but to work with him though. He's the only player to have a no trade clause. I didn't even know he had a no trade clause. That's crazy.
Foolishly, right? So
Like,
Washington is fucking stupid. They're
you
gonna
gave him the biggest contract in NBA history.
look.
You
It's gonna,
backloaded the contract, and he has a player option that nobody in their right mind is gonna fucking decline. What
but
that?
shout out to them for deciding to cut bait. They should have traded him 2 years ago, probably 3. But because what the alternative was, they were gonna give fucking Porzingis an extension, fucking give Kuzma whatever he asked him for, and it's like, fam, that's your big 3, Porzingis, Kuzma, and Beal. We've already seen that that's not even a fucking playing team, and it's like, shout out to them to decide to cut bait. But I think this shit is already, well, it's already been written. He's going to Miami. It's gonna be like Hero, Lowry, and Duncan Robinson, some first round picks, and probably number 18 in this year's draft, and Washington will just be happy to fucking move on. They'll probably either, they'll either buy out Lowry to save some money or find, trade him and then,
If Harold
keep
get
him.
traded to the Wizards, I'm buying the jersey.
But yeah, dang, who else is going to trade for Beal? It's nasty.
It should be Philly. I'm gonna be honest. I like Maxey as much as the next person. I'm a huge Maxey fan, just like pretty much everybody. If we're being completely honest, Maxey's ceiling is Bradley Beal.
I'm not giving up Max.
Quick question though, Deion. Are you working under the assumption that James Harden is there or he's gone?
I'm either way. Either way, like this is the summer, in my opinion, to cash in on Maxey. Now, if you're operating under the assumption you can get more for Maxey, you can get a Dame Lillard or even a Mikal Bridges, or you know, I don't think OG is more than Beal, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like if there's someone out there you can get
From a
Anthony
value
Davis,
perspective, though.
yes. If there's more value on the table, then yeah, don't trade for Beal. But if you can move Maxey and Harris to get Beal, like I feel like Maxey's ceiling is Bradley Beal, and that once you reach where Bradley Beal is, that looks like a negative, right? Because we want more. But if you're just Tyrese Maxey and you're like, yeah, you're going to be a multi-time All-Star, one of the game's leading scorers, that's a hell of a ceiling. So like I think you have a fragile Embiid. Yeah, even if you bring Harden back, you have a fragile Harden. If you don't bring Harden back, you now have a fragile Embiid, and no way. The only way to get another star is by moving Maxey. I I think
But
cashing in and getting Maxey, basically getting peak Maxey now, I think makes a ton of sense.
I get what you're saying, but then you mentioned the fragile part, and Bradley Beal ain't been healthy in years.
Well, yeah, but he's better than Maxey.
But you talking about a fragile Embiid, a fragile Harden. Now you just gonna have a fragile big three.
But I
You
Yeah,
mean,
have
but
a
that's
big
that's a
you gonna
chance
have
but
a
you
that
gotta
big
that
three.
take.
You're gonna
that's
have a
the
big
risk you
three
take.
that's gonna spend more time on the sidelines than on the court.
That's the
But
risk you take
you're betting
But
that if
then
they're
why
healthy,
not
the
just
ceiling is
hold out
higher.
on Maxi and try to
because
get somebody else?
you're gonna lose with Maxey.
But no, I'm saying try to get somebody else. I'm not saying just hold
But
on with
who?
Maxi.
Ooh.
But who?
Go after Dame.
Sure. That's what they should be doing now. Go. You have 8 days to go after Dame. You have 8 days to go after Mikal or any of these other guys that might be on the open market. If Portland and Brooklyn say no, why would you pass up on Matt or on Beal for the thought of like, well, we could negotiate a Dame trade in August?
And this is the last chance you're gonna have to move Harris because he's an expiring deal. You're gonna lose that salary slot next summer. So
Oh, I'm
to
trying to
be
move
able to give
Harris
a
forever.
team immediate, like, yo, you get to get from under that Beal contract, and all that Harris money comes off the books after a year. That has so much fucking value. That's why I'm like, that alone plus some picks might be enough. But if they push for Maxi, then I say yes to Maxi, get Beal to fucking Philly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I just think I just don't see, like, I think Maxi not being willing to move Maxi for Beal's crazy, because Beal is exactly what you want Maxi to become. He's never going to be good on defense. He's never going to be, a top 7 player in the league, but he could be a multi-time All-Star. That's a really good scorer, the same way Bradley Beal is.
Okay, so where do you see Bradley Beal's trade value at? Like
it's
just in general, not just
a
like
net
not like where
negative.
his fit is. Like what's his trade value?
At best, he's a net neutral. Most people will view him as a net negative. So they're not going to get any draft compensation they get will be ancillary, will be heavily protected. They're not getting like multiple first round picks plus. Like,
No,
it's just not going to.
I think you could get. I think Maxi or Hero. I think you could get Maxi or Hero. Maybe Poole.
You think though that's the best they could get though, like player wise?
I think that's the best anybody can get. Honestly,
Oh, look at that contract, bro. Like, it's nasty.
I,
It's
I,
nasty
I,
business.
whether it's Dame, Bridges, Beal, I don't know who else is on the open market. If you can swing Maxi, Hero, or Jordan Poole, like, I think that's the best you can get for anybody. If Levine was on the open market, the Bulls ain't touching any of them 3 dudes.
Yeah, you're right.
You think Zion gets moved to Houston?
Yo, what am I bugging or did I see some shit that he might be on the trade market?
Allegedly.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think New Orleans is tired of his shit, not being able to stay healthy. They ready to move on.
I mean,
Is that realistic right now?
I would honestly, because here's the thing. You can tell, right? And even low key, the porn star chick was like, yo, you told me your team hates you. So clearly Zion and this tension between the team and him, mostly because they don't feel like he's taking his rehab process seriously enough because he's so big, that's keeping him from being healthy, right? So they're like, yo, you're compounding your own injury issues because you don't take, your fucking physical health seriously. So it's like, bro, if you're not gonna help yourself, can we really bank on you to stay healthy? So if I could get the number 3 pick for him, I would do that, bro. I would.
I I think the Pelicans think they're farther away than like fans do, and I think when the Pelicans look at it like we're probably not going to win this year, so if we can reset by getting off of Zion's max contract for Scoot Henderson, who we believe in like being that caliber of player, that's probably the best case scenario for that team.
Bro, and remember, the only reason that the Pelicans are viewed the way they're viewed is because they took the Suns to 6 games when Chris Paul wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
And then like Zion had like a good 20-game stretch. So we're like, oh, are the Pelicans a top 3 team in the West? Like, no, they're not, fam. Like, they're not. You know what I'm saying? And part of that is because you can't trust Zion to stay healthy for a full season and give you a full postseason. Like, I don't know, bro. I would cut bait.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get Scoot, I don't think there's anybody on New Orleans you shouldn't trade for Scoot. I think 95% of the league should be on the market for Scoot. There's probably like 6 to 7 players I want to move for Scoot or Wemby. Obviously, there's more than that when you factor in like like team build, right? Like Boston's not going to move Tatum and Brown for Scoot or Wemby, but in theory, if San Antonio say, "Yo, give us Tatum for Wemby," like yeah, you should move fucking Tatum.
And then I would prefer to move Zion probably. But if I can trade Ingram, because look, I don't think Ingram and Zion work together. So if you're like, you know what, it's too early to cut bait on Zion, let's move Ingram, right? Let's move Ingram. Let's let Zion get fully healthy next year. Let's embrace the tank. And let's find somebody to take CJ McCollum off our hands and let's really like tear this shit down and fucking reset. I will see what I could get for Ingram. You know what I'm saying? Can you get an OG? Can you get a Siakam? I would look to explore moving one of the two. And if I had to bet, fucking maybe move Ingram, see what the fuck you get for him. But one of them got to move because they just don't work, bro.
I say it should be Zion just simply because of the health.
And you're probably gonna get more value for Zion than Ingram, even though Ingram's been healthy and all that.
Yeah.
But more teams can talk themselves into Zion being a franchise altering player than they will Ingram. So it's like, all right, who the fuck still believes in Zion?
And even if
well, it's also like from the Hornets perspective, who pick at 2, you can play the hometown thing, right? So that plays a part in why Zion's available. If we're just talking Portland, I think 3 for Ingram probably makes more sense than 3 for Zion does.
I think so, yeah.
You think that what Ingram's a better fit?
Well, he's just more ready, and if you're Portland, it's not about fit, it's not about talent, it's about like who's gonna get you across the line, and it's not gonna be just one move. Like I said, like 3 for Siakam makes sense because of what it leaves them to do following, not so much because 3 for Siakam makes sense. Yeah. Same with I want to trade, bro. If the Hornets take Brandon Miller, I mean, I'm not moving Scoot for Ingram, Zion, Siakam. You could offer me all 3. I'm probably saying no to that shit. But
you that high on Scoot?
I mean, I would prefer. I'd prefer to rebuild than try and build around those 3 dudes. That's all it is.
Before we end this, where do you project Scoot? Like, how do you see his career playing out? If you had to compare him to someone.
I have no clue. If I had to compare him to anyone, I think he's like a Russell Westbrook-esque player. Like I don't know if he's gonna win a ring or if he's gonna lose a ring, but the unknown is better than knowing your ceiling is losing, and that's why I wouldn't move Scoot for any of those 3.
Okay.
And the value he would have on a rookie contract if he plays well his rookie year, will far exceed anything you're gonna get back for him already on a fucking max or with a max on the horizon, like an OG or like a Jaylen Brown or somebody like that.
Right. Yeah, the
Nah,
OG for 3 stuff is crazy. Like,
No, that's asinine.
respectfully to Toronto fans, like y'all gotta know.
yeah.
Like
What
he's
else
smart.
would you? What else are they giving up with OG for 3?
no, that's just what Toronto fans think they're gonna get for
Nah,
3.
yeah, that's wild.
As wild. Yeah.
Respectfully, them fumes from them fires is getting to y'all. But
Would a sign and trade of Van Vliet plus OG for 3 make sense?
you got to
Yeah.
give up more than 3 though.
I don't think you do.
Would you have to?
I don't think you
Yeah,
do.
I don't think you'd have to.
Well, because then you
Van
could
Vliet.
then move
Because
Siakam.
remember, Van Vliet opted out. He's a free agent. Essentially, you're just the added value is the ability to sign and trade for him because you don't have the cap space to sign
You
him
get
out.
in the bag. He's about to get a bag too.
Somebody's
Somebody's about to overpay for him.
But OG's not making enough. You know what I'm saying? So it's like OG's low salary plus whatever
Yeah,
Van
it
Vliet's
make up
number
for.
is.
Yeah, it make up for it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't understand how the Kings don't already have OG. Like, why not? You know what I mean? You have nothing to lose. Why not just meet their asking price? Give them Davion Mitchell and 2 first-round picks.
But yo, every article, like I read John Hollinger, and he's like, look, everybody's expecting a lot of movement. That fucking tax apron, man, that got teams shook. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah,
teams are either gonna start, they're scared of it, or they're gonna start maneuvering themselves to avoid
that's
that shit
what.
down the road. And that's what's gonna limit. It's just like, yo, do you have somebody that can stomach those contracts? If you can just stomach a Beal or stomach a Lillard, that's going to give you so much leg up because it's not going to be no fucking bidding war. The
That's
market for those plays is going to be limited.
that's why I feel like Beal's not really gonna have much trade value. All that like combined with like his health and shit,
No, that's why he's going to Miami for that
but I
fucking
wonder
poo-poo platter.
how Deion, you got the educational background in this. You know more about all this stuff. How does the new TV deal affect the tax apron? Like, how does that work? Are teams still gonna be able to spend a lot of bread with the new TV deal, or does this kind of curb that?
I think I've read all the same shit X has read. I think that the tax apron scares teams that are scared to spend anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I if you're worried about the tax apron this year, then you're just worried about the luxury tax in general, right? Like, because the tax apron doesn't kick in for another year. The TV deal gets renegotiated next spring. We don't even know the number it's going to be, right? Like,
But remember, they're not going to do what they did last time. So they're going to
no,
level it off. And
right.
so that tax number isn't going to jump up 20, 30 million, even with a big TV deal. It may jump 8 to 10, which is significant. But if look at Miami, they haven't re-signed Strus, they haven't re-signed another guy. They're already 20 million into the tax, right? So if you re-sign Strus or Gabe Vincent, now you're what, 40, 50 million dollars into the tax? That tax apron becomes very fucking real.
But if the salary cap jumps 10 million, you're probably like 15 million into the tax, like following, right? And
But now you got Beal.
But it depends. Again, it depends. If you're a team like Washington with a max contract in Beal's case, because you have to remember, like these super maxes and some of the maxes are percentages of the cap. They're not a baseline number. So take X's picture there, right? Where it's like next year Beal's going to make 46 million. He makes 46 million based off what the cap is currently. He's going to make 34.88% of the salary cap next year, right? So if it jumps 10 million, his number also jumps 3 million versus what the reason you hear that Miami's being aggressive, the reason you hear the Warriors are willing to be aggressive, the reason you hear even the Lakers are being aggressive is Hero doesn't make a max, right? So yes, he makes $30 million. Yes, he makes what looks like is a max numbers wise. It not officially being a max and it being a set number is massive. Poole making 27 million this year, it being a set number, that's the difference, right? You can navigate that second tax apron because you don't have to worry about Bradley Beal's contract going from 46 to 53, right? Like And
because at 27 looks more like 18 once the
exactly.
TV deal kicks in, and that's
Yeah.
you can
Right.
stomach that quite easily.
And the reason Boston may sell Derek White is if you re-sign Jaylen Brown to the Supermax, on paper it's $70 million this year. If that new TV deal bumps it $10 million, that could be $75-80 million, right? Tatum could be making $80-90 million next year, right? So it's like it just depends on where you're at, and that's why I think like your fear of that second tax apron is mostly based on your fear and unwillingness to spend right now.
Which most teams are, in fairness.
Yeah, most teams
right?
are. Yeah,
which is why the Warriors and the Clippers are really the only two teams that really are like, yo, we don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But even that's not going to be tenable for long, right? Because it restricts your ability to fill out your roster and build on the margins. And if you don't have, if you're not 10 deep already, you don't want to be filling the last 5-6 bench spots on minimum salary guys. That's a crapshoot. And you might hit on one or two, but it's you don't want to be dependent on the Jeff Greens of the world to contend for a title. You know what I'm saying? Because we've seen what a lack of depth does to teams, and it's crippling. You know what I'm saying? So
it just depends on where you're at. Philly has every fucking reason to be concerned because they have Embiid on the super max, and Maxi's gonna get a max, right? Like that's the expectation, which is again even more reason I would just trade him for Beal now. Let's go all in on this year. And if it doesn't work, then we can sell off before we even have to worry about that second tax apron.
And we could see first because the value of first round picks kind of fluctuates. We could see the value of first round picks increase because it's cheap labor.
It's cheap,
you know what I'm saying? It's a set cost. And so are we more likely to get a rotation player at pick 25? Or do we want to take a risk and be dumpster diving with a minimum salary player? Like, you know what I'm saying? And you got cost certainty for 3 second round picks. Those become valuable, right? You're locking in dirt cheap labor for 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
I think the people that are locked in long term are the ones that are going to have the most value this summer, right? Like if you talk to the casual basketball fan, they're going to tell you Jordan Poole has one of the worst contracts in the league, right? If you talk to if you read Hollinger's article or you read Zach Lowe's article or you even just like listen to the anonymous sources, the guy that's locked in for $10 million above what the projected MLE for next year is definitely not a fucking bad contract, right? Like that's the guy you want versus the guy coming off the rookie. Like RJ Barrett has far more value than Emmanuel Quickley will this summer because you have to re-sign Quickley next year. If that TV deal is too much money, the Knicks could wind up sending more for Quickley to come off the damn bench than they spend on Barrett for starting.
Yeah.
Same Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram, same situation.
That's crazy to even think about paying somebody more to come off the bench than somebody to be starting.
Bro, they're projecting the MLE is going to be between 15 and 18 million next year.
What? And what was it this year?
This year's like 10 or 11. It's a good amount. This is the bigger MLE, not the tax apron MLE. I think the above the cap MLE.
I thought the MLE was like around like 7-8 mil.
I think the under the salary cap is 7 or 8. The above the luxury tax is like 5, and then the above salary cap is like 10.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it could be up to 15, bro. If you project out the growth, I did this like a few weeks ago because I was bored. If you project out the growth of the minimum contract, let's say it continues to grow this way, the minimum contract by 2027 is going to be $5 million alone. Like,
yo, bro, we gotta get you gainfully employed ASAP. You got entirely too much time on your fucking hands, bro. If you project the minimum salaries 5 years out, yo, bro.
I'm more likely to do that when I'm at work. For what
we gotta pick up a fucking hobby. I'm gonna send you a Sudoku book or something, bro. My son is out there bored, yo.
But it's like it's just like that's just what it is. It's like if you're locked in for 4 to 5 years today, you're more valuable than anybody else in the league.
Yeah.
Unless you Bradley Beal.
Well, that's because he makes a like
That shit
34%
is
of the
crazy.
salary cap.
Yeah, yo, he's gonna get like 57 mil by the end of his contract. That shit is crazy.
Yo,
Now, there was a
CJ
rumor.
McCollum should be
There
in
was a
prison.
rumor Kristaps Porzingis may opt in. He's a fucking genius if he does that. Anyone that purposely opts out this season, unless you're really old and don't think your body will hold up, anyone that opts out this offseason is losing mad bread. That's like those are the people that were free agents in 2015 and avoided 2016 when Mozgov and Dane got 80 million.
Yeah. Shout out Carmelo Anthony. But that's how it be. Yo, yeah, because I think the Wizards are waiting for Kuzma and Kristaps to make a decision. If they taking this long, I'm assuming they both gonna opt in. It makes more sense with the new deal coming up.